Next example, you take a metric space x comma d. For any xy in x, you define your delta of xy to be minimum of 1 comma dxy. And again the claim is d and delta are equivalent metric on x. First, we will have to show that delta is metric. So you take element xyz in x. First, we want to prove that delta of xy is greater equal 0. Now delta of xy is minimum of 1 and dxy. Since d is metric, d of xy is greater equal 0 and 1 is greater equal 0. Therefore, minimum is also greater equal 0. Second, we want to prove delta xy is 0 if and only if x is equal to y. But delta xy will be 0 if and only if minimum is 0. But 1 is not equal to 0. So the only possibility remains that minimum is dxy and that should be 0. So delta of xy will be 0 if and only if dxy is 0. But since d is metric, dxy is 0 if and only if x is equal to y. So you can have delta of xy is 0 if and only if x is equal to y. Second, symmetricity. So delta xy is minimum of 1 comma dxy. Now d is metric, so I can write it as dxy equal to dyx. So it is equal to minimum of 1 and dyx, which is equal to delta yx. That proves the symmetricity part. Now the triangle inequality. For triangle inequality, we will make some cases. First case, distance between xy and yz both are less equal 1. In that case, what you will have, delta of xy is dxy and delta of yz is equal to dyz. So if you consider delta of xz, delta of xz is minimum of 1 and dxz. Therefore, delta of xz is less equal dxz. And dxz, since d is metric, d satisfies triangle inequality, and which will give you dxz is less equal dxy plus dyz. But in our case, in this case, dxy is same as delta xy and dyz is same as delta yz. So you have delta xz is less equal delta xy plus delta yz. Second case, so in this case, case 1, we have proved the triangle inequality. Now the second case, we will assume that distance between xy is greater than 1. So if it is greater than 1, delta of xy, which is minimum of 1 and dxy, has to be equal to 1. So delta of xz, if you consider, delta of xz is minimum of 1 and dxz. It is going to be less equal 1. If it is less equal 1, you can say it is less equal 1 plus delta times yz, because delta time yz is always greater equal 0. So 1 is less equal 1 plus delta times yz. But this 1 is equal to delta xy. So you can replace this 1 by delta xy. So you have delta xz is less equal delta xy plus delta yz in this case also. The third is d of yz is greater than 1. If d of yz is greater than 1, in that case delta yz is equal to 1. Now again consider delta xz, which is minimum of 1 and dxz, so it has to be less equal 1, and it is, if it is less equal 1, 1 is less equal 1 plus delta xy, as delta xy is always greater equal 0. So 1 plus delta xy, now 1 is equal to delta yz. So you can replace 1 by delta yz. So you will have again delta xz is less equal delta xy plus delta yz. So in all these three cases, you have proved the triangle inequality for delta, and you can see this will cover all the cases. So we have proved if your d is a metric on x, then delta xy equal to minimum of 1 and dxy is also a metric on x. Now we will show that d and delta are equivalent on capital X. For this, we will make use of the definition of equivalent metric. That means we will show a set U is D open if and only if it is delta open. So let's consider a set U which is open with respect to the metric D inside our set capital X. Since U is open with respect to D by definition of open set, if X belongs to U, there exists a positive real number r such that open ball centered at x of radius r with respect to the metric D lies totally inside capital U. Now, note that if you have any positive number epsilon which is less than r, then bx epsilon will be subset of bxr and bxr is subset of u. Therefore, for every positive epsilon less than r, this condition that bx epsilon lies inside u will hold. So you can assume that your r, you can choose your r in particular to be greater than 0, means positive it is already there, but your r you can assume to be less than 1. What will happen if your r is greater than 1? Then you can choose your suitable epsilon which is less than 1. If it is less than 1, then it will be less than r also, and bx epsilon will be subset of u. That condition will hold. So accordingly, you can choose your r which is less than 1. So we can assume that our r lies between 0 to 1. So overall what we have got, for any set, for any element x inside our set U, there exists r greater than 0 less than 1 such that BDXR is subset of U. But now what will happen? In that case, what are the element of this open set BDXR? All those element whose distance, all those elements y such that d of xy is less than r, but r is less than 1. So d of xy is going to be less than 1. What is delta of xy? Delta of xy is minimum of 1 and dxy. Since your dxy is less than 1, minimum of dxy and 1 will be equal to dxy. So in that case, what you have, all the elements which belong to this open ball BDXR, for them, if y belong to this open set, d of xy is same as delta of xy. That means this open ball is same as open ball centered at x of radius r with respect to the metric delta. So since BDXR is subset of U, you can say B delta XR is subset of U, and that proves U is delta open. Now you assume some set V which is delta open, and now we will try to prove it is D open. Same argument will go. If it is delta open, there exists a positive number S such that B delta YS is subset of V. Again, since it holds for S, it will hold for every positive epsilon dash which is less than S. So you can assume that your S lies between 0 and 1. Because if your S is greater than 1, you can choose your epsilon dash which is less than 1. For that epsilon dash also this condition will hold. Therefore, you can assume your S is lying between 0 to 1. Now again, same case will happen. BDYS, set of all elements whose distance D, if Z is the element of this open ball, then D of ZY will be less than S, but S is less than 1. So D of ZY is less than 1. And what is delta of ZY? Minimum of 1 and D of ZY. But D of ZY is less than 1. So delta of ZY should be equal to D of ZY. In that is, open ball BDYS is same as open ball B delta YS, and B delta YS is subset of V. Therefore, BDYS is subset of V. Therefore, V is D open. That proves D and delta are equivalent. Few remarks I have written. Note that if you have a metric D on your set capital X, then delta defined by delta of xy equal to dxy upon 1 plus dxy, we have already proved is going to be a metric on your set capital X. Now observe that for any x and y inside your set capital X, delta of xy is going to be always less than 1, because this numerator is always less than the denominator. So dxy upon 1 plus dxy is strictly less than 1. What does it mean? That your set X is bounded with respect to the metric delta, and we say that metric delta is bounded. Similarly, if D is metric on your set X, we have proved delta of xy equal to minimum of 1 and D of xy is also a metric, and this delta of xy for any x and y in X, capital X, is always less equal 1. Therefore, you can say this delta is also bounded. So actually what you have proved that any metric D on a set X is equivalent to a bounded metric. That is what I have written. For any metric D on a set X, there exists a bounded metric on X which is equivalent to D. So these were few remarks. Now let's see next example. It says if you have two metrics D1 and D2 on your set capital X, satisfying the condition as follows, that if you have any x and y inside your set capital X, then d1 of xy is less equal k1 times d2 of xy, and d2 of xy is less equal k2 times d1 of xy, where k1 and k2 are some positive real numbers. Then d1 and d2 are going to be equivalent metrics. Let's try to prove it. So we are given that d1 of xy is less equal k1 times d2 of xy, and d2 of xy is less equal k2 times d1 of xy. And now we want to prove d1 and d2 are equivalent metrics. So we will prove that any open balls centered at x with respect to metric D1 contains an open ball centered at X with respect to the metric D2, and any open ball centered at X with respect to the metric D2 contains an open ball centered at X with respect to the metric D1. We will make use of that to show D1 and D2 are equivalent. So first assume BD1XR open ball in metric space XD1. So it is centered at X of some radius R. Now we want to find out a row greater than 0 such that BD2X row is subset of BD1XR. So I have made again one more guess. I have chosen my row to be K1 inverse R. K1 is positive, so K1 inverse, that means 1 upon K1 is positive, R is positive, so product is positive, so my row is going to be positive. Now we will show that this BD2X row is subset of BD1XR. So take an element Y inside BD2X row, then you have D2 of XY is less than row. This gives you, means you multiply by K1 on both side of inequality, you will get K1 times D2 of XY is less than K1 times row. But what is K1 times row? K1 times row is R. So what you have, this K1 times D2 of XY is less than K1 times row. K1 times row is R. But by given condition, K1 times D2 of XY is greater equal D1 times XY. That is the condition we are given. So you have D1 of XY less equal K1 times D2 of XY, which is strictly less than K1 row, which is equal to R. What does it mean? D1 of XY is less than R. That means Y belongs to the open ball centered at X of radius R with respect to the metric D1. So you started with any element of B D2X row and proved that it belongs to B D1XR, and that proves that B D2X row is subset of BD1XR. Similarly, the next inclusion you can prove, you assume BD2XS be an open ball inside your metric space XD2. So it is open ball centered at X of radius S with respect to the metric D2. Now we want to find some sigma such that BD1X sigma is subset of BD2X comma S. So again I am making a guess. My sigma I am choosing to be K2 inverse S. K2 is positive, K2 inverse 1, that is 1 upon K2 is positive, S is positive, so product is positive. So my sigma is positive. So I will prove that BD1X sigma is subset of BD2XS. So for that you choose an element Z inside this open ball centered at X of radius sigma with respect to the metric D1. That means Z belongs to BD1X sigma. This implies D1 of XZ is less than sigma. Now you multiply both sides by K2. So you will have K2 D1 times XZ is less than K2 sigma. But K2 d1 times xz by given condition is greater equal d2 times xz. So you have d2 times xz is less equal k2 times d1 of xz, and k2 times d1 of xz you have got to be less than k2 times sigma, but k2 times sigma from here you can see is equal to s. So you have proved d2 of xz is strictly less than s. That means z belongs to open ball centered at x of radius s with respect to the metric d2, and that proves bd1 x sigma is subset of bd2 x s, and that proves d1 and d2 are equivalent metrics on our set capital X.